Good morning, evening, everyone. Today we are talking about one of the most powerful tools in your health arsenal, what you drink. In the medical community, we often focus on what to remove from our diet, cutting out the soda, the juices, and the syrups. But today, I want to pivot. I want to talk about what you can add to your daily routine to help sensitize your body to insulin and stabilize your glucose levels naturally. The primary mechanism by which apple cider vinegar, ACV, influences blood sugar is through its high concentration of acetic acid. When you consume ACV before or during a meal, the acetic acid acts as a digestive stabilizer. It interferes with the enzymes responsible for breaking down complex starches into simple sugars. Specifically, it inhibits desacaridase activity, which means that the conversion of carbohydrates into glucose is significantly slowed. This resulting slow release effect prevents the rapid, sharp spike in blood glucose that typically follows a high-carb meal, allowing the body to manage the influx of energy more steadily. Beyond just slowing digestion, ACV has a profound impact on insulin sensitivity at the cellular level. Research suggests that acetic acid can enhance the ability of your muscles to take up glucose from the bloodstream. By making the cells more receptive to insulin, the body doesn't need to produce as much of the hormone to get the job done. This is particularly beneficial for individuals with insulin resistance, as it reduces the overall workload on the pancreas and helps maintain a more stable internal environment, preventing the metabolic rollercoaster that leads to crashes and cravings. The timing and method of consumption are critical for achieving these science-backed results. Clinical studies often utilize a protocol of 15 to 30 milliliters, about 1 to 2 tablespoons of ACV diluted in a large glass of water, taken roughly 20 minutes before a meal. Drinking it straight is never recommended, as the high acidity can damage the enamel of your teeth and the delicate lining of your esophagus. By diluting it, you maintain the therapeutic benefits of the acetic acid while ensuring it is safe for your digestive tract. Some also prefer using a straw to further protect tooth enamel from the acidic pH. Green tea serves as a metabolic powerhouse, primarily due to its high concentration of polyphenols, specifically a class of catechins known as epigallocatechin gallate, EGCG. Unlike black or oolong teas, green tea leaves are steamed rather than fermented, which preserves these potent antioxidants in their most bioactive state. EGCG has been shown in various clinical trials to act as a natural insulin sensitizer. It works by modulating the signaling pathways within your cells, specifically the PI3K ACT pathway, which is the primary switch that tells your cells to open up and absorb glucose from the blood. By improving this signaling, green tea helps the body move sugar into the muscles for energy rather than letting it linger in the bloodstream, where it can cause oxidative stress. Furthermore, the impact of green tea extends to the inhibition of alpha-glucosidase, an enzyme found in the small intestine that breaks down starch into glucose. By slowing the activity of this enzyme, the rate at which sugar enters the systemic circulation is significantly reduced, mimicking the effects of certain pharmaceutical glucose regulators, but in a milder, natural form. This buffer effect is particularly useful for preventing the postprandial after-meal hyperglycemia that is so damaging to the cardiovascular system. Over time, consistent consumption helps to lower hemoglobin A1c levels, which is the gold standard measurement for long-term blood sugar control. The role of green tea in fat oxidation also plays a secondary but vital role in blood sugar management. Excess adipose tissue, particularly visceral fat around the midsection, releases inflammatory cytokines that interfere with insulin's effectiveness. The catechins in green tea, often working in synergy with a small, natural amount of caffeine, stimulate the process of thermogenesis and increase the rate at which the body burns fat for fuel. By reducing the overall inflammatory load and slightly lowering body fat percentage, green tea indirectly makes the body's internal environment much more insulin-friendly, addressing the root cause of type 2 diabetes rather than just treating the symptoms. Fenugreek seeds Trigonella phonum graecium contain a unique composition of dietary fiber and bioactive compounds that provide a dual-action approach to glucose management. The most significant component is a specific type of soluble fiber known as galactomannan. When these seeds are soaked in water, the galactomannan expands to form a thick mucilaginous gel. When consumed, this gel-like substance coats the lining of the stomach and the small intestine, creating a physical barrier that slows down the gastric emptying process. By delaying the rate at which food leaves the stomach, fenugreek ensures that carbohydrates are broken down and absorbed into the bloodstream at a much more gradual pace, preventing the sharp glucose spikes and subsequent crashes that exhaust the pancreas. Beyond the mechanical benefits of its fiber content, fenugreek contains a rare, non-protein amino acid called 4-hydroxysoleucin. Scientific research has identified this compound as a potent insulin secretagogue, meaning it has the unique ability to stimulate the beta cells in the pancreas to release insulin, but with a crucial caveat: it only does so when blood glucose levels are already elevated. This glucose-dependent stimulation is highly significant because it reduces the risk of hypoglycemia, dangerously low blood sugar, a common side effect of many pharmaceutical interventions. By enhancing the natural pancreatic response to a meal, fenugreek helps the body process sugar more efficiently and safely. The impact of fenugreek also extends to the enzymatic level of carbohydrate metabolism. It has been shown to inhibit the activity of intestinal enzymes like sucrase and alpha amylase, which are responsible for converting starches and complex sugars into simple glucose. By blocking a portion of this enzymatic breakdown, fewer sugar molecules are available for absorption in the first place. Furthermore, the seeds contain compounds that improve peripheral insulin sensitivity, helping the liver and skeletal muscles to pull glucose out of the blood and store it as glycogen. This multi-pathway approach makes fenugreek one of the most studied and respected herbal interventions in the field of metabolic health. The metabolic benefits of black coffee are largely attributed to its high concentration of chlorogenic acids, CGAs, a family of polyphenol esters that act as potent antioxidants. While caffeine is the most famous component of coffee, researchers believe that it is actually these chlorogenic acids that play the starring role in glucose regulation. CGAs work by inhibiting the enzyme glucose 6-phosphatase, which is primarily responsible for the release of glucose from the liver into the bloodstream. By slowing down this endogenous glucose production, coffee helps maintain lower fasting blood sugar levels, particularly during the long intervals between meals or during the early morning hours. In addition to its effect on the liver, black coffee significantly influences the way the small intestine handles sugar. Studies suggest that the polyphenols in coffee can interfere with the transport of glucose across the intestinal wall by inhibiting the sodium-dependent glucose co-transporter SGL1. This means that even if you consume a meal containing carbohydrates, a smaller percentage of that sugar actually enters your circulation at any given time. This gatekeeping function helps prevent the rapid postprandial spikes that are known to damage the delicate lining of the blood vessels over time. Furthermore, coffee is a significant dietary source of magnesium, a mineral that serves as a cofactor for over 300 enzymatic reactions, including those involved in insulin signaling. The relationship between coffee and insulin sensitivity is also tied to its ability to increase levels of adiponectin, a protein hormone produced by fat cells that enhances the body's ability to process fats and sugars. High levels of adiponectin are associated with a reduced risk of type 2 diabetes because the hormone helps sensitize the insulin receptors on your cells. By improving the efficiency of these receptors, your body can move glucose out of the blood and into the muscles with less effort. This creates a more efficient metabolic environment where the pancreas does not have to overcompensate by pumping out excessive amounts of insulin, which can lead to inflammation and weight gain over time. To realize these scientific benefits, however, the coffee must be consumed black or with minimal, non-caloric additions. The introduction of heavy creams, sugars, or artificial syrups can trigger an immediate insulin response that completely negates the stabilizing effects of the chlorogenic acids. Furthermore, the brewing method matters. Unfiltered coffee, such as French press or Turkish coffee, contains diterpenes like cafestol, which may slightly raise cholesterol levels in some individuals. Using a paper filter can remove these compounds while leaving the glucose, lowering polyphenols intact. For those sensitive to caffeine, studies have shown that decaffeinated coffee still retains much of the glucose, lowering potential because the beneficial chlorogenic acids remain present even after the caffeine is removed. The inclusion of lemon water in a metabolic health strategy is primarily centered on the biological impact of citric acid and soluble fibers like pectin. When lemon juice is consumed alongside or just before a meal, the citric acid interacts with digestive enzymes, specifically salivary alpha amylase. This interaction begins the process of slowing down the breakdown of complex carbohydrates into simple sugars right from the first bite. By lowering the overall pH of the digestive bolus in the stomach, lemon juice effectively reduces the glycemic index of the entire meal. This means that a piece of bread or a portion of rice consumed with lemon water will result in a significantly lower and slower blood sugar rise compared to consuming those same carbohydrates alone. Beyond the immediate digestive slowing, lemons are an abundant source of vitamin C, ascorbic acid, and bioflavonoids like hesperidin and naringin. These compounds are potent antioxidants that address the secondary complications of high blood sugar, oxidative stress, and systemic inflammation. Chronic hyperglycemia leads to the production of free radicals that damage the endothelium, the inner lining of your blood vessels. The polyphenols in lemon water help neutralize these free radicals, protecting the vascular system from the long-term wear and tear associated with insulin resistance. Furthermore, studies suggest that these specific citrus flavonoids may inhibit the accumulation of fat in the liver, which is a critical factor in maintaining overall insulin sensitivity. Hydration itself is a frequently overlooked variable in blood sugar management, and lemon water serves as a palatable vehicle for increasing fluid intake. When the body is even mildly dehydrated, the concentration of glucose in the bloodstream naturally rises because there is less water to dilute it. Additionally, dehydration triggers the release of vasopressin, a hormone that encourages the liver to produce more sugar, further elevating blood glucose levels. By incorporating lemon water into a daily routine, you encourage consistent hydration, which assists the kidneys in filtering out excess glucose through urine. This flushing mechanism is a vital natural pathway for the body to maintain homeostasis and prevent the buildup of toxic sugar levels. To maximize the therapeutic potential of this beverage, it is important to use fresh lemons rather than processed, bottled lemon juice, which often loses its enzymatic activity and vitamin content during pasteurization. Using lukewarm or room temperature water is often recommended over ice cold water to ensure the digestive system is not shocked, allowing the citric acid to blend more effectively with gastric juices. For an added benefit, some practitioners suggest including a small amount of the lemon zest, which contains the highest concentration of limonene and other essential oils that support gallbladder function and bile production. Improved bile flow aids in the digestion of fats, which further stabilizes the metabolic rate and ensures that energy from a meal is released in a controlled, sustainable manner.